Show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Bass in your face. Bass in your face.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it's called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a member of the Uncommon Folk from the very beginning or just recently joined as late as this week, I really appreciate all the love and all the warmth that you've given me. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, particularly when it comes to Instagram and TikTok. Your continued support really touches my heart. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices. And I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So what I'm going to ask you to do is the following. If you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. Now, in all fairness, this stream was usually scheduled for tomorrow, but I decided at the last minute to add it on to do it tonight because sometimes Thursday night streams do not do very well. Okay, I understand there's some other creators that aren't, so maybe the audience might be low. But in any case, the topic for tonight: who are the Generation Z people? So I'm going to be discussing that. I'm going to give a definition of who they are, and maybe try to educate as much as I can regarding this generation. Okay, so basically they're the generation past the millennials. Okay, but before we get into the main topic, we're going to have another issue of In My Words. So some of you have already heard regarding this situation regarding TikTok. Okay, there was a bill that was drafted in the House, banning TikTok from the United States if the company ByteDance does not divest from TikTok, the platform. Now, of course, we all know that TikTok is a hugely popular platform, particularly among the younger generations, because you see a lot of people producing videos and things of that nature and doing live streams of that, and also making money off the platform. Okay. However, there's been a lot of concern regarding breach of information and that giving the Chinese government unsecure access to our data. So other concern for that there was a bill that passed in the House. It went to the Senate. It was passed in the Senate. Then it went to President Joe Biden to sign, which he signed. Now it is a law. Now, the situation is that Bit ByteDance has 9 months to a year with a 3 months extension to divest from TikTok. Should ByteDance refuse to divest, then um, TikTok will be banned in the United States. Okay. Now, I have given my opinion regarding this subject. First of all, it's an issue regarding free speech. Okay. First of all, as far as fear of getting your data, I mean, there are various different programs available to help protect your own personal data. And another thing you have to bear in mind, that when it comes to private information, why are you posting it on social media? Why are you posting it on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Rumble, all those other platforms? Why? Why? What is the purpose in doing that? I mean, one would think when it comes to your personal stuff that you would not broadcast it for the whole world to hear. Because one thing we all have to bear in mind, that once we post it on the internet, it will forever stay. Okay, you can delete it, but people can take snapshots, and record your data. So my thing is this: if there's anything private that you have, do not share it on social media. Okay? Because we're living in a day where people are basically sharing anything and everything on social media, whether it be people cheating, whether people twerking. I mean, sometimes in TikTok is getting close to soft porn. I mean, it's getting to the point now that people don't have to go to Pornhub to see adult material. They can see it in TikTok now. Okay. Furthermore, I mean, there's certain things that you should not air. Now, I remember in my day, okay, there's a saying: you don't air your dirty laundry out in the public for everyone to see. So, why are these people choosing to air their private stuff? That does not make any sense. But people do that, and people do that for clicks. People do that for views, and I mean, but this is the thing: if you go around and you air your private stuff, and people comment on it, you can't get upset if people react and say negative things about it. Okay. So I wish that people would show a little bit more discretion regarding certain things, okay? Because there's certain things that the public does not need to know when it comes to your personal information, okay? I mean, to each one's own. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Okay. Now, of course, ByteDance is going to fight this, and I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of litigation regarding this ban. And I have a feeling eventually it will reach the steps of the Supreme Court, where the 9 men and women will decide whether or not this law is constitutional or not constitutional. Now, I know that my dear friend Gigi did a video today, which she also um, talked about this latest ban. To be honest, I thought about actually doing another stream regarding this, but no. I mean, I basically share all that I did is to share. But I did say that I would provide additional information as it come up, and of course, uh, when there's additional information, I will share with all of you. Okay, and some of these young people, if it does get banned, they're gonna have to find another way to make money. Now, of course, there have been other countries that have banned TikTok. Okay, one a good example is India, and I see. Good evening, April Showers. Thank you very much for stopping by. Now, before I continue, let me just state that April Showers has her own channel. She produces a lot of content, positive content. So I'm going to ask that if you have not done so, please check out her channel. Show some love, subscribe, and check out her material. I think you'll be pleased. Okay. I met her through Don Armando's platform. Okay. And a huge shout out to the people watching this now. Okay. So as soon as I have more information regarding TikTok, I will air it with you. Okay. And one thing that I have not mentioned anything. I'm gonna get to that in a few minutes. Actually, Generation Z, that's the generation after the millennials. Okay, because you see, because you have certain generations. I am what's classified as a baby boomer. Okay, the baby boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. The Gen Z people, I think they're from 1997 to 2012. So basically, these are the people that the older Gen Z people are entering into their 20s. Okay. But which is a good time to get into the main subject. Okay. Now, the question is, why did I decide to discuss this topic? First of all, we have a lot of misconceptions regarding the younger generations, which is basically the millennials and the Gen Z people. And then there's another generation ahead, in front of them called Alpha, which is basically people that were born 2013 to today. Okay. So the people in Alpha, they're basically kids. They're children. So what I'm going to do is just give me a moment. I'm going to okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share some information regarding the Gen Z people. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions regarding them. One of the misconceptions is they're a bunch of spoiled brats who who do not appreciate anything. Okay. Now, one thing that we have to bear in mind, and I'm going to say this again. I know I've said it many times, but I will continue to state it. There's good and bad in every community. Okay. Not all the Gen Z people are a bunch of spoiled, entitled people. Okay. There are some great people. Okay. Just like, there's some, just like in every community, you have some rotten apples. Okay. But it doesn't mean that the whole community is bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to share my screen because I was having some technical difficulties earlier. Okay. So what I did, I went to Wikipedia. Okay. And I'm just going to share with you. Okay. So this is the definition of Generation Z. Okay. Generation Z is shortened for Gen Z, colloquially known as Zoomers, is the demographic succeeding millennials and preceding Generation Alpha. Researchers and popular media used the mid to late 1990s as a starting birthplace and the early 2010s as ending birth years. Most members of Gen Z people are children of Generation X or older millennials. So basically, it's from 1997 to 2012. So if you was born within that time period, you are a Gen Z person. If you were born between 1980, I think, 81 to 1996, you are a millennial. Okay. As the first social generation have grown up with access to internet and portable digital technology from a younger age, members of Generation Z, even not as necessary digital, have been dubbed digital natives. Moreover, negative aspect of screen time and pronounced in adolescence as compared to younger children. Compared to previous generations, members of Generation Z tend to live more slowly than their predecessors when they were their age, have lower rates of teenage pregnancy, and consume alcohol, but not necessarily psychotropic drugs less often. Generation Z teenagers are more concerned than all the generations with academic performance and jobs prospect, and are better off delaying gratification than their counterparts from the 1960s, despite concerns of the contrary. Sexting among adolescents has grown in prevalence, and the consequences is mainly poorly understood. Youth subcultures have not disappeared, but they've been quieter. Nostalgia is a major theme for youth culture in the 2010s and 2020s. Okay. Globally, there's evidence that the average age pubertal onset girls have decreased considerably compared to the 20th century, with implications that for their welfare and their future. Furthermore, prevalence of allergies among adolescents and young adults in Generation Z is greater than the population. There's a greater awareness of diagnosis of mental health condition, and sleep deprivation more frequently reported. In many countries, Gen Z youth are more likely to be diagnosed with intellectual disabilities, psychiatric disorders than older generations. Okay. So this is the date range. Let me just check, see if there's any other comments. Okay. You have to excuse me because I'm trying to do two things at this. I'm trying to multitask. Okay. Now, the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary defines Generation Z as the generation of people born in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The Collins Dictionary defines Generation Z as the generation of people born between mid-1990s and mid-2010s. The Oxford Dictionary defines Generation Z as the group of people who were born between the late 1990s and early 20s, as regarded as being familiar with the internet. Okay. So basically, it's just repeating the same thing. Okay. Now, let me just share with you some things. Okay. The economists have described Generation Z as more educated, well behaved, stressed, and the first generation in comparison to previous generations. In 2016, the Valley Foundation and Populous conducted an international study examining the attitude of over 20,000 people aged 15 to 21 in 21 countries. Okay, and I'm not going to read all the countries, but some of them is Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, and also including the United Kingdom and the United States. They found that Gen Z youth were happy overall with the state of affairs in their personal lives. So just basically just statistical data, which I'm not going to. Okay. So let's go into the common culture. During the 2000s, especially in the 2010s, youth club culture was as influential as what existed during the late 20th century became scarcer and quieter, at least in real life and not necessarily on the internet, and more written with irony and some consciousness due to the awareness of insensitive peer surveillance. Okay, in Germany, for instance, youth appear to be more interested in more mainstream lifestyle with goals such as finishing school, owning a home in the suburbs, maintaining friendships and family relationships, and stable employment rather than popular culture, glamour, or consumerism. So there's some. Now I'm just going to park it here. So, so let me just break. Okay, so let me just break it down. The generations, starting with my generation, going to the Gen Z people. As I stated, the baby boomers are the people that were born from 1946 to 1964. That was a result of the military people coming back from World War II and then starting families, and then you had this huge baby boom. That's why we call baby boomers. And then you have the next generation, which is Generation X, which is from 1965 to 1980. Okay. And then the following generation you have is the millennials. And they're from 1981 to 1996. And then you have the Generation Z people, which was born between 1997 to 2012. Okay, so at this point, the older Gen Z people are in their 20s. Some of them have graduated from college and are pursuing careers. And of course, they have multiple issues. One of them being that they had acquired a great deal of student loan debt. Okay, some of them hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you can just picture this. Okay, here you are. You're someone in your early and mid 20s, and you have this huge debt because you're taking out loans in order to pursue your collegiate career. So that's one of the struggles. And sometimes they tend to stay at home because it's hard. I mean, it's first of all, it's very hard to find meaningful employment, and that you pay your rent, and you have to pay utilities, and plus on top of that, you got to pay your student loans. Okay. So before I continue, let me just state that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Anyone at any point wishes to join the panel and have a discussion, share their point of view regarding the Generation Z people, they can do so. Let me make this perfectly clear. If I never heard from you or seen you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage because I want to make sure that no one flashes anything inappropriate, which would cause the people of YouTube to take down their stream. Because unfortunately, we're living in an age when people uh, they don't know how to conduct themselves, so they try to do anything possible to make life impossible for the host, whether it be through trolling or whether it be through arguing with um, anyone on the panel, the chat, or the host, or they'll try to flash something inappropriate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share another article. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. I apologize. It seems like tonight it's going to be a struggle stream, but we will continue. Okay. So now I'm just going to share my screen again. Okay, so just bear with me until the image appears. Okay. So again, here's another definition of what is Generation X, Z, or Gen Z. Okay. It is the name given. No, I don't want to do that. Thank you. Given to the generation of people born between 1997 and 2012, commonly referred to as Gen Z. In short, generation comes after the millennials and before Generation Alpha. The oldest member of Gen Z are reaching their late 20s, but many now out of college getting married and started families, while the youngest may be as young as 12 years old. Okay, so let's share some characteristics regarding uh, Generation Z. Gen Z is the most racially and ethnically diverse generation of Americans yet. According to the Pew Research Center, non-Hispanic white Gen Z hold a very slim majority at 52%. Hispanics make up 25% of Gen Z, while Black Gen Zs make up 14%, and 6% are Asian. The remaining 5% are different races or two or more races. The majority of Gen Z members are not immigrants, but only 6% were born outside of the United States. Though past generations have taken up social issues, Gen Zs are more socially minded than previous generations. According to the NECKC Foundation, Gen Zers are focused on several key issues: healthcare, mental health, higher education, economic security, civic engagement, race equity, and the environment. Many Gen Zers will soon be ineligible to remain in their parents' health insurance, and they are concerned about how to pay for their own coverage. The issue is further exacerbated by the increased number of Gen Zers seeking mental health treatment. 37% according to the American Psychological Association. Gen Zers also make education a priority. More than 50% of those ages 18 to 21 will enroll either the 2-year or 4-year college. Gen Z members also more likely to. So that's something positive. Members of Gen Z are fighting for social change, racial equality, and protecting the environment in record numbers. Some have elevated their profile to national levels, such as X, formerly Emma Gonzalez, survivor of the 2018 Marjorie Stonewall Douglas High School shooting, who helped organize the March on Our Lives movement with other survivors, according to the Pew Research Center. Approximately 70% of Gen Zers think the government needs to take more active stance in addressing problems. Let's see. Thank you. Okay. Let me just take care of this. Okay. Now this is the difference between Gen Z versus Millennial, Gen X, and Baby Boomers. The 21st Annual Trans-America Retirement Survey of Workers looked at how Gen Z view its finances and retirement prospects compared to Millennials, Gen Xers, and Baby Boomers. Key findings include almost 610 of Gen Z workers, 59% said that an employment situation has been negatively impacted primarily due to the reduction of work hours as a result of the pandemic, which is significantly more than among millennials. 51%, Gen Xers 39%, and baby boomers 30%. Baby boomers, Gen Xers, and millennials are significantly more likely than Gen Z to cite saving for retirement as financial priority, which is 75%, 65%, 53%, and 33% respectively. But of course, a lot closer to it already there is a case of many baby boomers. Building emergency savings is a priority for 50% of Gen Xers, 46% millennials, 42% of Gen Zers, and 36% of baby boomers. Okay. Now we're going to be taking a look at the Gen Z financial situation. According to the Trans-America Survey results, Gen Z currently has little or no financial security. Gen Z workers are more likely to say they're not just getting by to cover living expenses, 50%, paying off student loans, 35%, than older generation. In addition, they have stayed just $2,000 in emergency savings, while 30% dip into their retirement accounts. Also, approximately one-third Gen Zers have reduced their day-to-day expenses due to pandemic-related financial strain. Okay. Even though Gen Zers might be on shaky financial ground at the moment, they have firm plans for retirement. In fact, 70% are saving for retirement through employer-sponsored plans such as 401k or similar plan, and or outside the workplace as per the Trans-America Survey. Gen Z also started saving for retirement at age 19 much earlier than millennials, 25%, Gen Xers 30%, and baby boomers 35%. According to the survey, Gen Z members estimate that they will need $500,000 by the time they retire to feel financially secure. However, only 32% have a backup plan if retirement comes unexpectedly. Okay, just give me a moment. According to the survey, Gen Z members estimate, additionally, the 2022 Investopedia Financial Literacy Survey found that younger generation are factoring cryptocurrency into the retirement plans, so understanding cryptocurrency may be extremely important for children. Because Gen Zers are just moving into the workplace, many don't have a lot of experience with financial planning. They may know about employer-sponsored plans, but many don't know how much investment products outside of work, such as bank accounts, savings, and money market, individual retirement account, and certificates of deposit. In fact, according to the Trans-America Survey, only 9% have a great deal of understanding of asset allocation principles as they relate to retirement investing. So here's some things that it's going to do to help the Gen Z people. Okay. Number one, get a comprehensive financial plan. Don't wait until you're well into your career to seek financial advice for your financial future. If you have a steady job and already are saving for retirement through an employer sponsored program, now's the time to seek input on how to maximize your savings. Learning about budgeting, there are great apps for that, and work to build emergency funds that help you through the tough times and keep you from ending up with serious credit card debt. For example, your car breaks down. Manage your debt. Even for 25 years, so though the Gen Z years, pursuing home may still be some years away, but it's not too soon to get your finances under control, which will help get a mortgage when the time comes. A good credit rating and low debt level can help you both with current life. Hiring managers sometimes check into this and your future ability to get everything from a car loan to eventually a mortgage. Work with your student loan debt under control and keep critical debt to a minimum. Okay. Paying up credit card debt can give you a TDI a big boost, as can paying up any installment loans such as car loans or student loans. If you're having trouble paying down your debt, a certified credit counselor can help you develop a plan of action. Number three, get a head start on college costs. Excuse me, let's get something to drink. Okay. As college tuition continues to increase, it's fun to look at ways to pay for college that won't leave you drowning in debt. Through four-year colleges are considered a primary path for a college student. The other more affordable option that could be to reduce how much you pay for college, taking classes online, attending community or junior colleges, or opting to a technical school, or offer avenues of secondary education. They cost less than traditional four-year schools, or make the first part of college education cheaper. Taking time off of work and save for tuition costs is another way to pay for college. You can also apply for the federal work-study program when you can work part-time while attending school, either full-time or part-time. And of course, you can seek scholarship and grants. There are many forms of financial aid grants available. Just have to do your research. Get a financial picture from parents. As you embark on adulthood and begin to take control of your finances, talk with your parents regarding how to build secure financial foundation. They can help you answer questions and you have building your savings, managing your credit card use, and establishing your credit history, and understanding employer-sponsored retirement accounts and benefits. Do Gen Z people tend to be financially secure? Not yet. 50% are making just enough to cover the basic living expenses, while 35% have student loans to pay off. One-third of them report having suffered financially due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now the question is, are the Gen Zers saving for retirement? Gen Zers are the most retirement conscious generation ever. A staggering 7% have some sort of retirement plan, whether employer-sponsored or self-administered. Gen Zers started saving at retirement age 19 compared to that millennials at 25, Gen X is 30, and baby boomers at 35. Okay. Now the bottom line, Gen Z older members are beginning to move into their post-education years, which brings financial consideration with it. This includes planning for retirement, finding ways to pay for their college education, and setting up a stage for a strong financial future, including buying a home. Having a firm financial plan in place can go a long way helping them to achieve their financial goals. Okay. And we're going to park it here. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a taste um, regarding the Gen Z people. I would have preferred if some of these Gen Z people were here so they could chime in regarding what I discussed and what I overlooked, okay, because I'm not perfect. And of course, one of the problems that we have is a lack of understanding regarding um, the younger generations, okay? Because unfortunately, we tend to look at things through the perspective of our generation, okay? And how we do things. And one thing we have to bear in mind that while the template for us baby boomers um, worked for us to a certain extent, it may not work well for the younger generations. Okay. I mean, I remember when I was going to college, when I started, tuition was $140 a credit. So you figure if you're taking 12 credits, um, that's about anywhere from 18 to $2,000 a semester. As far as the tuition and all the assorted fees involved. Nowadays, just to go to college, I mean, it's almost the equivalent of buying a car. Okay. And as a result, you have a lot of young people who are graduating. Unfortunately, they're graduating with a huge amount of student loan debt. Okay. Which is why it's very important. Now, if you decide to pursue a college degree, okay, you need to take into account what you're going to study. You also need to take into account what people could possibly earn once you earn your degree. You also need to take into account what are the different types of financial aid that are available. There is financial aid from the federal government, there's financial aid from the state government, and there's also scholarships. Okay. A lot of it is based on economic need. Excuse me. A lot of it is also based on what is your field of study. You have rich alumni who have graciously gave a great deal of money uh, in the form of scholarships. Okay. So, and one thing we have to bear in mind, not everyone is meant to go to college. Okay. And going to college is not the only way that you can gain a successful career when you make a decent salary. Okay. You can earn trades. You can learn trades and earn a great deal of money. Good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by. The topic for tonight is what are the Generation Z people? Okay, so basically, what I did was I just gave a definition of what are the Gen Z people? I mean, basically, these are people that were born between 1997 and 2012. Irvi, I'm not too sure. I think you're one of the Gen Z people. That's true. In fact, let me tell you something. You can also have you know, have a successful career as a municipal employee, whether it be okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, Irby, so I would definitely appreciate whatever feedback when it comes to the Gen Z people. Perhaps you can share in the chat some of the issues that you as a Gen Z person deal with. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, okay, yeah. So you're definitely a Gen Z person. So maybe you can share in the chat what you perceive some of the issues that you as a Gen Z person have to deal with. Okay, and of course, one concern is, of course, if you decide to pursue a collegiate career education, paying for it, and then having to deal with student loan debt, and sometimes student loan debt as much as okay, yeah, that's something we every generation is concerned about. Also, I'm sure another concern that Gen Z people have is whether or not Social Security is going to be there when it's their time to retire. Because we hear this all the time that Social Security is going broke. Okay, that Social Security is in the financial crisis and things of that nature. And the reality is uh, you have a lot of people of my generation who have or in the process of putting their paperwork to retire. Okay, so you're talking about a huge part of your citizenry who will be on Social Security. Okay, and yeah, that's another issue. I mean, look, rent. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is going to be more expensive to rent an apartment today, particularly if you are living in these big cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, Miami, Boston, Philadelphia. Um, that could be I mean, and sometimes you have to pay like almost 50% of your income towards rent. Okay. That is a huge problem. Okay. So you think about it. You are a Gen Z person in your 20s. Okay. You just finished your education in college and you have a degree, but yet you have a huge amount of student loan debt. And then you're trying to find a job, a decent job that pays a decent salary where you'll be able to, to pay your rent, pay your utilities, and some problem with some of these Gen Z people is some of them live paycheck to paycheck, meaning if God forbid something happens to them, they will have a major crisis. Okay. So Irby, question, what are some of the other issues that you as a Gen Z person have to deal with? Okay. So if you can just enter that in the chat, I really would appreciate it. Okay. So and again, I think one of the things that will help as far as dealing with Gen Z people, yeah, yeah, that's another issue when it comes to the gender wars. And I mean, first of all, you have. I'm going to try to say this without sounding like an anti female, but you have some modern women who have these outrageous expectations and what they're looking for in a man. Meaning that the man has to be 6 feet tall, the man has to have a six pack, and the man must have a six-figure income or more. The problem is most of these people in their 20s are not making that much money. Okay. In fact, the average person of a person perhaps with a college degree, it's about maybe 40 to 45,000 a year. Okay. If you're living in a small town, you can live off of that. If you're living in if you're living in a big city like New York or Chicago, you're basically poor. Okay. And what gets me with some of these women, okay, is this. In all fairness, how many men out there are actually making a six-figure income? Not many. Okay. And the reality is this. If there are men that are making a six-figure income or even a seven-figure income, they have multiple options. Okay? They can pick whatever female that they want. Okay? So as a result, some women get a little bit upset because they're not the one that get picked. Okay? But yet they don't sit down and analyze the why. What they do is to simply complain and moan about there's no good men out there. There are good men out there. It's just the problem is you have to have realistic expectations. And men are just as guilty as women. Okay. I mean, and again, let's bear in mind, both sexes have made poor choices in regarding the partners that they had. Okay. And unfortunately, there have been some women that made poor choices regarding who they decided to give the unique distinction of bearing a child. Okay? Because unfortunately, what happened is you have some women, and again, let me make this perfectly clear, some women who made poor choices in who they have a relationship with, and then they get upset because these males fail fair. Okay, so let's just read this. That's 1%, but since Gen Z people most of the time on social media they think real life and elders don't make it. Yeah. Let's keep it real. I mean, a lot of the baby boomers, they're not all that swift when it comes to social media or the internet and things of that nature. Okay. Well, the fact of reality is this: you have people who make poor choices, and then they get upset regarding the poor choices that they make that didn't pan out. Okay. But I don't want to digress too much. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, of course, every generation uh, perceive that this situation is unique, it is applicable, that has never happened to anybody else. But there's certain things that are common, regardless of what generation you belong to. Good evening, Gigi. Thank you very much for stopping by. And let me just state that my friend Golden Goddess have her channels, which produces a great deal of content on biracial and mixed people, okay, mainly light skin. So I'm gonna ask if you have not done so, please check out her content. Please subscribe to her channel. And she also has a membership where for a few dollars a month you have access to content that's restricted only to members. So I'm gonna encourage you, if you have not done so, please sign up to be a member um, with my friend Golden Goddess. Okay. So tonight the topic who is the Generation Z people. So what I've been doing, I've been talking about them, giving a definition of who they are, um, and also dealing with some of the issues that they deal with. Okay. Of course, many of them dealing with the fact that they have a great deal of student loan debt. Okay. You're quite welcome, Gigi. And thank you for allowing me to be um, a member of your membership. I really appreciate it. Okay. So, yeah. So it's first of all, it's the Gen Z people. They're the ones that deal with mostly um, with the internet and social media. Is also dealing with the issue whether or not Social Security is going to be there for them when it's their time to retire. Of course, it's concerned that many of them are living paycheck to paycheck, which is basically means that they are one crisis away from on losing everything. So let's see. Yeah. So and of course, there's always a great deal of misunderstanding regarding people that we don't know. Okay. And there are people that will paint Gen Z people as being sensitive, over entitled, spoiled, and what have you. And look, as I stated before, and I'll state it again, there's good and bad in every community. Okay. Um, Gigi, I also saw your video. I think, as always, you do great content. Also regarding the fact that TikTok may be banned in the United States if ByteDance does not divest. So, as soon as I have additional information, I will share with my audience. So, let's see. Yeah, you can say that. I mean, I'm sure they will paint a different narrative regarding regarding themselves. I'm sure they'll state that they're very passionate. Okay. Um, in all fairness, I don't know a great deal of many Gen Z people. Okay. But as I stated before, there's good and there's bad in every community. Okay. Let's see. Just give me a moment. All right. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay. I think what's the problem with some people perceive Gen Z to be thin-skinned, um, overly concerned, um, entitled. Um, I don't think all of them are that way. Okay, but some people do think that they are entitled. I mean, okay, part of the problem is that we really don't understand fully where the Gen Z people are coming from. Okay, so that's I think part of the problem. So that's why I'm talking about it. Hopefully, it will share some light, and perhaps we will look at the Gen Z people in a different light. Okay, so let me just check it to see if I now in the description box. Yeah, yeah. But you know what? There's stereotypes regarding every group. That's a reality, and there's certain misconception regarding every group. I mean, yesterday I was talking about Latinos and some of the misconceptions regarding us and things of that nature. So I prefer to deal with facts than not to deal with what some people think. Okay, because basically, you can have your perceptions, but I'd rather deal with reality. Okay, because I believe in keeping it real, folks. So, Irby, what do you think are some of the other issues that Gen Z people have to deal with? And to be perfectly honest, I have been looking at my my geographics regarding my audience. One thing I have noticed that almost 75% of my audience are ages 18 to 44. Okay, which means you're talking about millennials and Gen Z people. The fact that almost three-fourths of my audience are millennials and Gen Z people really surprised me because, first of all, let's keep it real, folks. Uh, I'm not a young person. I'm 61 years old. Okay, and I know with some people I'm as old as Methuselah, but the fact that three-fourths of my audience consists of millennials and Gen Z people uh, means a great deal to me. Okay, which tells me that I seem to be hitting, you know, providing quality education, quality content. Okay, let's see. Yeah, believe me. Um, it could be an issue. Okay, it's an issue. But again, as I stated before, and I'm going to state it again, there is good and there's bad in every community. Okay, so basically, so what is my take regarding Gen Z people? You do have to uh, respect their zeal. They're very passionate regarding who they are. Some of them do act immature. I gotta admit that. Some of them are, a little bit self-centered. But the majority of Gen Z people are good people. Okay, which of course, again, I keep saying the same thing, which is they are good and bad in every community. Okay, so the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to join the panel and express their point of view, they're more than welcome to do so. You're also welcome to add any further comments in the chat. If no one wishes to opine further, either being on the panel or um, in the chat, um, yeah, Irby, I really would appreciate it if you can hit that link and share with us regarding some of the things that the Gen Z people have to deal with. Okay. Now, I'm just going to deviate a little bit. Um, of course, another thing that's been hitting the social media has been the soft guy era. Okay. And I find it hilarious the ways that some of these guys acting. I mean, it's really good satire. But what gets me is how some women are getting triggered with drizzle and the soft guy era. Okay, and of course this is what I say about it. I'm perfectly happy as a healthy male um, to you know not expect a woman to to do every to pay my bills and things of that nature. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone that will love me and cherish me, and the same thing as well to her. Okay, well, okay, you know what? This is my take. Excuse me. This is my take on it. Okay, and Gigi, we can disagree, and it's perfectly fine. It's basically some of these men are using the same rhetoric that some of these modern women have been saying for years regarding what they're expecting with a man. Okay, and some of these ladies are being triggered, which basically what they're doing is that they are adding life to this drizzle softcore era movement. I don't agree with a woman should okay that women should pay for a guy's stuff, but I do agree that there should be mutual love, there should be mutual respect, that people should try to work together. Um, because if you combine the resources of two people, you're able to do more. So I mean, yeah, and this is and like I said before, okay, this is the consequences of sprinkle. Okay, scared. Why? Why? You've been on panels before, so I don't understand why. I mean, you've been on panels with me, you've been panels with Gigi, you've been panels with Multi. So I don't understand how you could be okay. Okay. I'm a little confused, Irby. So, well, you know what? Look, to each one. Look, to each one's own. To each one's own. But okay, yeah. But look, but you know what? One thing I would love to do is maybe at some point do another stream regarding the soft guy era. But I would love to have only ladies on the panel so they can express their point of view. Okay. That's something I might do, but I think I might have to do it on a night when it's like after 9 o'clock. Okay. I mean, if I'm going to do another stream regarding the soft guy era and that panel, I mean, I will have to try to do it say after 9 o'clock. Realistically, the best time for me to do it is on a Friday. Look, let me tell you something. When it comes, the first time that you do a stream, of course you're nervous because first of all, you don't know what you're gonna say. You don't know how. Okay, fair enough. I mean, look, you don't know what you're gonna say. You don't know how it's gonna be received. You don't know what I mean, what type reception you gotta get. So I get it. It could be a little. I'm a little surprised, GJ, because you don't come across as being the nervous type. Okay, you come across as someone that's very self-confident, that you know what you're talking about, and that you have to give the gap. So I'm a little surprised, but hey, okay, yeah. I mean, look, it was a struggle for me in the beginning to talk, particularly when I have to like talk when there's no one else on the panel. In time, I learned how to carry on a monologue, so to speak. Yeah. You know what? I get it. I get it because look, unfortunately, Gigi, a lot of people have taken shots at you. Okay. And they've called you everything but a child of God. So okay, I can kind of see your point. Okay. And to be perfectly honest, when I do go on other people's panels for the first time, I'm concerned about how I'm going to be received. Okay. And to be perfectly honest, that was the situation when I got on Misunderstood channel platform because not knowing how things go down in that platform, and you never know. Okay. I mean, I have to admit, I was treated very well by Misunderstood and most of the people in the chat. There's a couple of people that said, whatever, but yeah, okay, yeah. And look, and to be perfectly honest, sometimes I get a little nervous interacting with people with uh, with huge platforms. Yeah, I mean that's true because look, when you go on a platform that you don't know anything about, you don't know the type of reception that you're going to get. Okay, you don't know whether you're going to be received warmly or you're going to get chewed out or whatever. And I'm okay. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I mean, the first time I got on your platform, I got on Multi's platform, I got a little nervous because I didn't know how you would respond to me. Okay. But in time, at time, I learned that you and Multi are very cool. You're very gracious people. Okay. And without a doubt, you and Multi are two of the most real people on this platform. So, so obviously, when you hit the link and join the panel for the first time, you don't know um, what is the lay of the land. You don't know how to conduct yourself. So you're on your p's and q's because you don't want to say anything that might trigger someone. And that was the situation when I was in Misunderstood's um, platform. Well, look, like I said before, Gigi, you've been called everything but a child of God, and this has been going on for years. Okay, and I think part of it is jealousy, part of it is envy. Also, some people cannot deal with the fact that you're real. Okay, there's a lot of phony people out, not just here in these YouTube streets, but also outside as well. So, in any case, let me just sum up regarding the Gen Z people. Um, I will say this much: many of them are great people. Many of them are very, you know, genius when it comes to social media. They quickly adapt to you know to technology. Okay, yeah, yeah. But one thing I was, and I've said this before about you, Gigi, is that you have matured a great deal within the last 2 years. I will say this much. And if people don't like it when I say that, well, you know what? That's their problem, not mine. Okay, I can see when people have matured, and I see when people have gotten wiser. I mean, I see that with you. I also see that with Multi. Good evening, Georgia. Thank you very much for stopping by. And I just want to comment that Georgia does have his channel. So I'm going to ask you if you have not done so to please show some love, check out his content, and uh, um, subscribe to his channel. So the topic for tonight is what is the Generation Z people? So basically, I've been talking about who they are, also talk about some of the issues that they face. Okay. Yeah. So um I okay Georgia, I by any chance are you a millennial or a Gen Z person? Okay, that would be okay. Because I know okay. Basically, the millennials are people that were born between 1981 and 1996. And the Gen Z people are people that were born between 1997 and 2012. So I'm not sure, Georgia, if you are a Gen Z person or millennial. So if you can just no indicate who you are. Okay. Okay, so you're a millennial then. Okay. Okay, but look, the fact of the matter is when you're able to acknowledge where you missed the mark and are prepared to do something, that's half the battle right there. Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. Well, this year I will be 62, which means I will be eligible to apply for Social Security at a reduced benefit. Okay. Now, one stream I actually did was I did a stream regarding um, the millennials and the baby boomers with Denise Gonzalez. Okay. Which, of course, I talked about the situation regarding the baby boomers, and she talked about the situation regarding millennials. So, of course, yeah, yes, because basically, the youngest baby boomer was born in 1964. Okay, yeah. So the baby boomers are from 1946 to 1964. So yes, and of course, many of people of my generation have already retired or are they in the process of retiring. So you're going to see a large influx of senior people. Okay. So in any case, now the next stream I'll be doing will be this Friday. hmm, I would say 9 or 9:30, and of course it will be another episode of open discussion. So for the benefit of those of you who do not have a clue what does open discussion is about, is basically I just talk about a group of multiple issues where I give you my opinion, and of course the audience is welcome to opine and also welcome to share with me whatever topics to discuss. Okay, so I have been talking for almost an hour and a half. Okay, fine. Look, all I'm going to say to you, Irby, is just make sure that you have a thick skin. because you're gonna have haters. Just be mindful that this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, and it's going to be a struggle. I mean, but the key is to be consistent and produce content every week. Okay. Now I've seen some of the content from Creole. I think was it Creole Chief. I mean, some of it it's good. Some of it it's like a little. It's a little off-putting to me. Okay. I have no issue with him. Okay. Okay. So I'll be going on live around 9 or 9:30. Okay. I'm still trying to debate which time. But I think in any case, um, let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, your eyes okay. Oh, okay. Actually, I would consider you, Gigi, more of a veteran millennial. Okay. I would never say to use older, okay, because some people don't feel comfortable about it. Yeah, I'll definitely be looking for it as well. So, what is my final take when it comes to Gen Z people? Um, you know, they're for the most part okay. For the most part, they're great people. They're very imaginative. They're very passionate in what they believe. And of course, there are bad apples in every group. Okay. Well, okay. I guess it all depends on your point of view. I guess I can be considered an elder due to my age because let's face it, I'm gonna be 62 in October, and the fact that I survived, I outlived three of my male siblings. Um, I just consider myself very fortunate. Yeah. Um, I would say that you're more of a seasoned person, Gigi. Okay, I think it's more um, a palatable term. But look, the reality is this: I'm old, I'm bald, and I'm fat. Okay. Yeah, I have to agree. You are a bit, I have to agree. You are a bit spicy. Okay, but that's what I love about you. Okay, because you are real. Okay, let me just okay. When you think of middle age, typically most people live to between 70 and 80 years old. Now you have some people who live past who live past the 80s and a few past live into their 90s. So if you're talking about middle age, you're talking about perhaps anyone from 35 to 40 years old. Okay. And that's something I had to learn the hard way because I thought I was middle age and I had to find out nope, I'm old. I'm old. But you know what? It's okay. because you know what? It just means that I've been blessed to live for 61 years. That's how I look at it. So with that being said, I really appreciate all the interaction um, on the chat. I would have preferred someone to join me on the panel, but it is what it is. People, yeah, people have to feel comfortable joining the panel, and sometimes okay, sometimes people don't prefer not to, and sometimes it's you know, um, they prefer not to. That's all. We have to be respectful. Yes. Um, but in my case, I plan to live as long as I can. Hopefully, I live to be at least to my 70s or 80s, and if by some grace and mercy I live to my 90s, I would consider myself truly blessed. Okay, but in any case, I think it's time to put this stream to bed. Okay, so of course, all of you are more than welcome to enter your comments after the stream is over. Just try to keep it respectable. That's all. Yeah, the early 80s was an interesting time. So good night, Gigi. Thank you very much for stopping by. And of course, I'm going to close the same way I always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the interaction of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Saying good night, take care, be the best version of yourself, and peace. Let me just make sure I get this one more comment. Yes. So I'll see you. Oops, let me just. So I'll see you in the next stream. Take care and have a good night.